Welcome to Market Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin, and thank God it's Monday. Tonight, we are taking a look at ticker LULU, L-U-L-U. You might know them better as Lululemon. Lululemon Athletica was founded in 1998 by Chip Wilson, with the first standalone store opening in Vancouver, British Columbia. Now they are a $19 billion publicly traded company in the apparel retail industry and the consumer discretionary sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of Lululemon's competitors are Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. We're going to review Lululemon's earnings, their website, and visit the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, and put a FB in the chat if you're tuning in from Facebook. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. All right, so let's get to it. Let's get to these earnings. All right, Lululemon Athletica, ticker symbol LULU, the $18.82 billion company, reported its fourth quarter fiscal 2025 earnings on March 17th, 2026. They have a 52-week high of $340.25, which took place June 3rd, and a 52-week low of $143.96 that occurred March 27th, which is a trading range of $196.29. And they closed today at $156.18. Lululemon Athletica earnings report beat on the top line and beat on the bottom line, as strong international expansion led by a 28% revenue surge in China helped offset softer demand in the North American market. They reported revenue of $3.6 billion, which was higher than the market expectations of $3.58 billion. EPS was higher than the analyst and market expectations of $4.79 when they reported an adjusted EPS of $5.01. Lululemon Athletica reported a GAAP net income of $630 million, which was lower than the $748 million net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents a decrease of 15.8%. So for the fourth fiscal quarter of 2024, their net profit was approximately 18.7% higher than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released after the market closed, followed by a 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time conference call. As far as guidance, management provided an optimistic long-term outlook for 2026 with the goal of opening 40 to 45 new stores around the globe. That 52-week high of $340.25 that took place in June last year to the current closing price of $156.18 today represents a decline of 54.1% over a span of approximately 10 months. So if an investor put in $1,000 at that 52-week high, they would currently be seeing a loss of $541. All right. So let's talk about the benefits of visiting these company websites. We browse these websites and read descriptions with the goal of quickly finding answers to these three key questions. What does the company do? What goods and or services do they sell? And how important are these goods and services to their customers? To find those answers, we browse 4 areas on the company's website: the homepage for goods and or services, about us, company vision and mission, careers, employee benefits and opportunities, investor relations, for SEC filings, and stock quotes. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's stream are down in the description. Let's go back to Lululemon Athletica's website to check out what we can find on there. All right. Give me a second. Bam. All right. Now, this is actually the investors website. So let's go to the actual website. This is where you shop at. This is where people be spending their money. All right. So we are looking for, we already know they sell apparel, guys. And when we go on these websites, you'll be clicking all day looking at all the different stuff that they sell. But we already know the goods and services. Goods is apparel. They sell clothes, shoes. They targeting a specific type of customer. Want to look stylish. Things like that. Here you go. So you can see what they targeting. It's a specific type of customer they looking for. Lululemon. And it's became a very, very, very popular company. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this company this year. So we know that. So let's look at the About Us. So here's the About Us section. Let me see if I can zoom in just in case. Oh my gosh, that's way too big. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's jumping down, but it is making it bigger. I wanted to get this font right here bigger. So here we are. So About Us. We want to learn more about the company. So we can see right here where it says Our Business. Let's check that out. So click there. And matter of fact, let me put my cursor on my, I didn't put that on. So here's the Our Business section. And for your convenience, the links are down in the description for you to read over this on your own time. I'm just going to browse. I'm not going to read all of this. But they discuss their products that they offer, and everything they make is rooted in the science of feel, their services, their operations. And they talk about their global footprint. So they're telling you how many stores they have, how many employees they have right here in this section. Did they zoom me out? They did. So they're talking about their size and their reach right here in this section. Let's look at what they offer as far as like towards their employees and benefits and things like that. So we go to careers. So this is how you find that on their website. Talk about the culture, their purpose. And here is where you can find job opportunities. I like to try to find the benefit. Here's the benefits section. So here's where they talk about the benefits. And what I look for, or why I focus on benefits, is because I want to know what type of morale they have with the employees. Like a happy employee tends to help the business a lot. You don't want low morale employees working for your company, because that's who the customers interact with. You don't want employees that's unhappy running customers away. That's why the benefits that they offer and the opportunities they offer is important to me as an investor when I'm looking at companies. That's why I'm looking at that. All right, so we've looked at the business. We know the goods and services. We looked at careers. The links are down in the description for you to browse over this a little more on your own time. So let's look at investors. So investors, let's just click financial information and see if it takes us to a whole nother website. This isn't the website that was on the Thinkorswim platform. So I'm gonna show you that in a minute. So I'm looking for the stock quote. And I don't see it. That's too far up. So if I go to investors, do I see it here? Stock quote, stock quote, stock quote. Nope. Don't see it there. So let's go to, what's the other option we got? We got fundamentals. I don't think that's going to be it though. I could have sworn we just saw something else This is the website. Here it is. Okay, so it says share price, but I don't see anything that we can click. So it looks like it's not active. It's not active. And I'm not surprised because on some of these websites, the stock quote information and charts are not even there. And I don't know if they do that because people don't actually use the websites. Here it is. So this is clickable. So here it is. So stock quote and chart. And as you can see, we clicked on it, right? But nothing came up. If I click stock information, go back one, is it loading? This is moving really slow. I click stock information. It's not even moving. Now it disappeared. Now, how did we get there? I don't even remember how we got there. So we went to home. We scrolled down. And it was somewhere down here. Okay, so share price. It's not coming up, guys. I done tried twice. And even when you go to stock information. So here's another website that fails with offering the stock information on their website. So let's leave there. Let's go back here. Let me give you the disclaimer about this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because that's something else. We're going to be all day with that. All right. So before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited. Traders lose critical detail and advanced platform features on a mobile screen. So be advised, trading from a phone is usually the least effective way for managing assets. To see every detail, use a full trading platform and watch these streams on a computer or a TV. Only use a phone as a last resort. Now let's look at the charts for Lululemon and actually see some stock information using the Thinkorswim platform. All right, so let's go over there. So here is the Thinkorswim platform. I have the ticker down at the bottom. Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go over here and look at the charts. And here is Lululemon, and we are looking at a 1 year daily chart. And we're going to do some quick technical analysis. I'm not really blocking what we need to look at, but I am going to change this to a 2 year time frame. It's still going to be a daily chart, but I'm going to be able to move it over a little bit. Let's look at the weekly. I want to see if the price has ever historically been down as low as it is. It has. So you can see we're looking at, this is a 10-year weekly chart. So we can see that in 2017, this is 2016, this is 17, 18. So let me draw a line to show you the 52-week low now. So let me go here. Move this over. So this right here is the current 52-week low that we talked about earlier, right? So I'm going to draw a support line. I'm going to zoom in even further so we can see it better. The wick on the bottom of this candle, I'm going to put a support line there. All right. So that $143.96. So now we can easily see it on the chart. And we're going to go to the 10-year weekly chart. And now we can see, let me take me off the screen, make it a little bit easier. We can see that the price in 2019 was around the same trading price it is now, slightly above it. And right here, it tested that support in 2020, and it's been trading above the prices that it's trading now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So you're seeing 7 years ago prices today with where Lululemon is trading at now as a stock price. So if I go to the 1 year, this is 2 year because I had switched it. Let's switch it back to 1 year. The 1 year daily chart put me back on the screen. I would say just a quick analysis with this. You have resistance right here because the current price is below these levels. And if we look, I would say this would be a zone. So let me change this to this box. And I would say this area is going to be resistance, but it's more so like a zone versus a line. So that's my quick technical analysis on this. And let's zoom in. The stock price is currently trading above the 9-day simple moving average, but it's still trading below the 200-day simple moving average. And I'm going to read you the stock quote for today because they didn't have it on the website, but we don't even read it from the website anyway, but they didn't even have it there. That didn't work. So let me pull this up. Floating data box on. So we're going to mouse over today's candle. So Lululemon opened today at $155.32. They had a high of $157.25. They had a low of $153.63, and they closed today at that $156.18 we talked about earlier in the show. And the trading range was $3.62. And when we look at the trading volume, they traded 1.5 million shares of this stock today, which was extremely low when we're looking at the volume rank percentile. Okay. So I'm gonna show you what that is. Let me take me off the screen so I can point this out. So the average trading volume for this stock is 3.7 million. And today it only traded 1.5 million, which is insanely low. And right here, that's on a 6.3% volume percentile. So what this does, if you haven't seen this before, it tells us how many days out of the most recent 252 trading days had higher volume or lower volume than today. So out of 252 trading days, 236 days had more volume than today. So for technical analysis, that is very important to know the volume behind the price action. That's why it's important to calculate or to look at the actual volume. All right, so we looked at Lululemon. Did we read the? No, we didn't even. I don't think we did that because we looked at the website. So we don't do that anyway. Let's move on. Let's go to the spot. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. All right. Before we do that, we're gonna do the community support. So go here. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream. You hit the like button, subscribe, and if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description, as well as the ticker that I just placed on the screen. All right, so we're gonna look at the S&P 500, but we're gonna use the SPY ETF because it tracks the performance, and this ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the S&P 500 index by tracking its performance. All right, so let's go to the spot on the Thinkorswim charts. So we go back, put me back on the screen. There we go. And take this floating data box off. It's annoying if we're not actually using it. All right, so let's go over here and we're gonna type in SPY in that symbol box, SPY, and here is the S&P 500 ETF. And we can go. I already have the technical analysis because we look at this every live stream, and I haven't seen anything besides this area right here. We could put that as support. The bottom of this wick. But right now it's currently trading above this previous resistance. So now that's become support. This price level is $653.17, and it's trading in this range we had drew previously using this price action from November to September. I would say August from, yep, this range right here. So this is a little bit of August. I say September 19. So September, yeah, it's down at the bottom. From September to November 24th, November 25th, it was trading in this range that we put as support and resistance right here. So currently, the SPY is trading above the 9-day simple moving average, but it's still trading below the 200-day simple moving average, and it's in that range that we drew on the calendar, on the chart. Oh my gosh, the calendar. We drew on the charts not too long ago. So it went back into that trading range. So right now, this $653.17 is acting as support, and the 200 simple day moving average is going to be resistance, and this line here. And we need to pay attention to the volume. So let's talk about the stock, the ETF quote, because it's not a stock, the ETF quote for this today. So let's put the floating data box back on and talk about what happened today. Let's zoom in. So the spot opened at $655.86. It had a high of $659.72, had a low of $655.52, and closed today at $658.93, which was a trading range of $4.20. And when we look at the volume was 39.1 million shares of this ETF was traded today. And when we look at the volume rank percentile, it's extremely low again. This means the market must have been insanely low with volume today. This is crazy. The average volume is 80.1. I'm blocking it. The average volume is 80.1 million shares of this ETF is traded on average. 80.1 million. And today, less than half was traded today. This is extremely low volume. Even though the price went up, it went up on extremely low volume. When we look at the volume rank percentile, I have not seen this low ever on anything. This is my first time I've seen it this low on something I was actually looking at. 1.2%. Only 3 days out of the most recent 252 trading days had lower volume than today. Out of a whole year's worth of trading sessions. That's insane. All right, well, we looked at the SPY. And now we can go ahead and move on to today's winners and losers. So let's talk about that. So first, we're going to look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. I don't like looking at the loser last. We're going to look at the winners first. And something interesting happened today with the biggest loser. And I'm glad that it happened because it gives us an opportunity to educate ourselves and look at some other tools and resources to find out some of the quirks about the market that actually happens on some of these tools and platforms that we use. So let's go ahead and look at that. So let's put the Thinkorswim back on the screen. All right, so we're going to go over here to Market Watch. And when we go to Market Watch, I already have this pulled up, but I'm going to show you how to do it. We go over here to Watch List. We go to Public, S through W, and we go to S&P 500. So we select that, which I already had. And I have my column set on the market recap format. So right here, we click percentage change. It's already on the biggest loser for today. Now, what's interesting is that this is a huge number we're looking at right here. So it's saying that ticker BKNG lost 95.8% today. Okay. That looked crazy, right? I'm not a mathematician, but I know that the previous close changed from $167.77 to a close today of $176.19. The first thing I immediately recognize is that the current closing price is higher than Thursday's because the market wasn't open over the weekend and Good Friday. So Thursday's closing price. So this shouldn't be negative. That should be positive. It shouldn't even be negative. So I went to the charts to find out what was going on, okay? So when we go over to the charts, I don't have it linked. Wait a minute, I didn't click it. So when I select this, it's linked. So when we go to the charts, it should change. This is the stock, Booking Holdings Incorporated, okay? BKNG. And when we look, we can see that the stock actually went up today. So it shouldn't even be showing you a 95% loss, right? So here's what happened. The stock did a split. They split the share. So if you own one share of the company, they split it into 25 shares. So you don't get more value. You just get more shares. It's going to be the same amount. It would be like it was a $100 stock and they broke it into 4 shares. If it was a 4-to-1 split, each one of those shares would be worth $25. So it would still be the same as $100 value. They just broke it into pieces. So when they did this, the way Thinkorswim calculates this, it looks at the current price like a loss compared to what it sees on the back office end, okay? So let me show you how you can look at what's going on to get the right figures about what's going on. So if the other tool I like to use, I like to go to Yahoo Finance, okay? So we're gonna go to Yahoo. And when we go to Yahoo, we click finance. Let me blow this up. Zoom in. We don't need 200, they go 150. So we're gonna type in the ticker symbol BKNG, Booking Holdings Incorporated. And now we can see that this is accurate. This is aftermarket. We're not looking at that. This is what we seen on the charts over there. So the current closing price was $176.19. I can take this off the screen because we're not even on that. $176.19. So they went up by $8.04, and they had a percentage change of positive 5.02%. They didn't lose 95% today. So that was inaccurate on the Thinkorswim platform, okay? So technically, they're not the biggest loser. So I wanted to show you how I figured that out. So they did a stock split, and that's what confused the system on Thinkorswim, okay? So we're gonna move on to the next company on the list. So the actual biggest loser for today is ticker symbol LITE. Put this back on the screen, LITE. And their previous close was $826.88 on Thursday. And today they closed at $772.28, which was a percentage loss of 6.6%. So if someone had invested $1,000, they would have lost $66. But I'm gonna do the math so you can see how you do this. 1,000 times 0.066. So they would have lost $66. We negate it, add the initial investment capital back to it, and it'll show you what the investor would be left with. They would be left with $934 of their investment. All right. So we already selected it. Let's go over to analyze so we can do some more research on this company. So the ticker symbol is LITE, and they are in the information technology sector. Take me off the screen. We look over here and we can see the official company name is Lumentum Holdings Incorporated. And here's their website. Let's read a little bit of the description. Lumentum Holdings Incorporated manufactures and sells optical and photonic products in the Americas, the Asia Pacific, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. The link to their website is down in the description for your convenience. So let's go ahead and pull this website up. Here we go with them cookies. There go the Cookie Monster. Let's click them off. And let's blow this. Ooh, I pushed the wrong button, guys. Give me a second. Let's blow this up. All right. So here's their homepage. And we're going to browse over it to see what their goods and services are. They talked about Photonic something, and I can't even remember what it was. There's careers and investors and relations information, and we already at the bottom of the website. It's in the information technology sector. So we know that this is really important right now with everything that's going on with AI, especially storage, because this stuff takes up a lot of data. Like, data is where it's at. They want to get everybody's data, and they need to have somewhere to store it. And it's a lot of data flowing through the internet at all times, and they don't want to miss any of it. And everybody has websites, and then you got social media, and then you got people uploading stuff. So these companies that are really focused on providing these products to make sure they can capture, store, and process all this data and information. So if we click on products, it goes into a little bit more details about the things that they have. But I'm sure you can also use, like, if you don't understand it, because I don't actually understand this, I would use ChatGTP or some type of AI program, what they got, like Claude, and then they got Gemini, to ask questions to find out specifically what these products do and how important they are to that market. That's how I would do that. Okay. So let's go to about. Let's find out about the company. We did the goods and services. So here it is, about us at the top. So we go to about us. This looks kind of small. Company. So you got leadership, legal compliance, office locations, learn more. Let's just click learn more. Okay, they changed it. So here's their story, their impact, leadership, and commitments. I'm looking for something that talks about, like, our purpose, the mission statement, and vision. That's what I like looking at. I see the leadership. Here go their commitments, the sustainability, the quality they try to keep, or their goal of the quality they want to deliver to their customers, the supply chain. Okay, I don't see it at first glance. The links are down in the description for your convenience if you want to browse through here and find it. I want to move kind of fast tonight. I don't want to get hung up on something too long. But here's some career information that we like to look at. And here are some of the things that they offer. And this is where we was talking about company morale, not company morale, employee morale. You want happy employees. And it doesn't look like they deal with the customer. The majority of their employees deal with the customers directly. And you know, like when you, all these phone call stuff is automated now and things like that. But you want these people to be in good spirits and positive and love their job and love the company they work for and things like that. You get a different type of production out of employees like that. So let's click explore careers. Let's see if we can find some of the things as far as like benefits. So they talk about how many countries they're in, the amount of patents that they own, and they broke down how you pronounce their name so you don't mess it up. Lumentum. Y'all don't mess up our name. So yeah, they got that. So our photonic innovation is the power of light. I'm thinking this has something to do maybe like with fiber optics or something. That's my guess. Here are the benefits right there. Boom, benefits. Well, they ain't do nothing but just take us down to the bottom of the page. So this is the global benefits, going a little deeper into it with what we browsed on the other page. So if we click explore benefits, some companies also offer like childcare. They offer education. They fund your education if you want to do that. The different offers they have for healthcare and things of that nature, and you can narrow it down the country. So we see that, or the areas of where they offer it at. So we looked at about us, we look at that. So now we need to look at the investors. So we go down to the bottom, and it's right here on the bottom right-hand part of the screen. It zoomed us out. Let's zoom back in. And this company was the biggest loser for today, right? Yep. All right. So here's the stock information. They trade on the NASDAQ. Here's the ticker symbol. Here's their closing price. And they lost $54.60, et cetera, et cetera. But we're looking for the full stock quote and the chart. So if we go up to the top, there it is. You see stock quote. So let's click that. And if they offer a chart, it'll be here. There it is. So they offer a chart. There's the stock quote information and historical stock quote. So let's go over to the Thinkorswim platform so we can look at this a little further. All right. So we're going to go down, go over down, Thinkorswim and charts. Now, I'm going to go to the weekly chart and I'm going to tell you what I was looking at earlier. This, in my opinion, would be very difficult to do technical analysis because it's not any previous price levels on this chart in 10 years. So this is a 10-year weekly chart, and where the price is trading at now, it's no historical data that I see on this 10-year chart that have these same levels. So I would call this like no man's land. There's no previous levels to really go by except these recent ones right here. And it's like this stock has just moved straight up since 2025 in April. So like 2025 in April. Yep, right. So like April 14th, that week of April 14th, somewhere up in here, it's just been moving up. And just this year in 2026, from this low, I'm gonna put this on, use this tool right here. I believe the lowest point, I'm gonna put the floating data box on so it'll be easy for you to follow me. So if I put the floating data box on and apply it, this candle is lower than this candle. So I'm looking at the low. So the low is 317.44. This one was 320. So it's this one. So we're going to connect to the low of this candle and go to the recent high, which was this week. This week, they had a high of $836.91, which today is the only day of this week on this candle. But anyway, that's that. So we're going to take the floating data box off. And then this is going to tell us the percentage change just this year from that low to that high. Okay. So the percentage change is 163.64%. And this is one of the beautiful things I love about looking at these charts, because it shows you what's possible on the positive end and on the negative end. Like, people only hear a lot about people losing money and not getting returns like this. So it was an opportunity here to get 163% return investing in this company at that low, January 12th of this year, or the week of January 12th, because these are weekly candles. And they had a high today, this week, of $836.91. Now, you might not capture the whole move, of course, at the exact bottom and the exact top, but the opportunity was there. Even if you bought it in this candle going to there, that still should have been over 100% return. Let me remove it and use that tool again. So if we put it at the bottom wick of that candle to the bottom wick of this one. Okay, so this means you didn't even get it perfect, right? That's still almost 90%. That's still almost a 90% return. So it just shows you what's possible when you look at these charts and you can actually read them and understand what's going on. So technical analysis wise, I don't think that it's enough data to be able to really say this is support and this is resistance. If I'm eyeballing it, just looking at the weeks, let me remove this drawing. I would say that maybe this area would be support. And that's because the price struggled, like it tested it for a few weeks before it broke through it. So if it was to come back and maybe here, like it tested that area a few times for a few weeks. So this week, that week, this week, came back down and tested it and recovered. Those would be the most recent price levels I would look at as support if the price was to come back down. They would need to find support on those two levels. If we did a quick technical analysis, that's what I would see. So let's go to the daily chart. And I'm gonna zoom in and we're gonna go ahead and look at the stock quote for today and go ahead and read it on this company. We already visited the website and all that other good stuff. So ticker light open at $828.48. They had a high of $836.91, a low of $767.01, and they closed today at $772.28, which was a trading range of $69.09. And when we look at the volume, they traded 5.8 million shares of this company today. And when we look at the average volume for this company, the average volume, or for this stock, is almost 4 million shares. Almost 4 million shares traded daily is average. So this was almost 50% higher than average, because I'm rounding this off to like 6 million shares. So when we look at the volume rank percentile, it's 82.9%. So only 43 days had higher volume than today out of the most recent 252 trading days. All right. So that's what we're looking at with that. So let's go on to our biggest winner for today. I hope we moving at a nice little pace. I don't want to be going too slow tonight. We're going to hit click right here, percentage change, boom. So the winner for today is ticker APP. Looks like it's AppLovin, okay? And their previous close on Thursday was $386.37, and they closed today at $412.68, which was a 6.81% gain, okay? That was a gain. And that gain If somebody had invested $1,000, that would have been $68.10 as a ROI on $1,000 investment. Okay, so we're gonna speed up a little bit. I ain't gonna pull up the calculator. So we select this, go over to analyze. Here's the ticker, and they are in the information technology sector as well. And when we go down to the company profile, right here, we can see the company name, AppLovin Corporation. Here's the website. Link is in the description for your convenience. So let's read a little bit of the description. AppLovin Corporation provides end-to-end artificial intelligence-powered advertising solutions for businesses in the United States and internationally. You can read this on your own time, and this is also available on Yahoo Finance. Let me show you that real quick. Let's just for extra little content. What was the ticker symbol? APP. So if we go here, we go to Yahoo Finance real quick. Did I close it? I think I did. Let's pull it up again. So just in case you don't have the Thinkorswim platform and you want to know how to pull up the description to read these companies, click on Finance. I'm gonna show you real quick. Take that off. Go here. Blow this up. Put the ticker symbol in, APP. Now, when it pulls this company up, here it is right here. We're going to go over the profile. And when you go over the profile, if you scroll down, here's the website and here's the description. Okay. So that's another way to get to the description information without using the Thinkorswim platform. Okay. But let's go to their website. So here's their website. Let's zoom in. We at 200%. We don't need 200%. So I think this company, their goods, their services is advertising. They advertise for you. They help with marketing. They collect data and they help you advertise and promote your goods and services. They help you with marketing. I believe that's what this company does. Okay. The website is really short, so we don't have to do long browsing. So we're going to look for careers. No, the about us, about AppLovin right there. And it won't let me select it. So I'm thinking that this means we already where it's going to tell us the about section. So this is the about page because they're not selling you, even though their goods and services ain't like shoes. You know how like when we went to the Lululemon, they selling shirts and shoes. It's crazy, right? So it's pages and pages and pages upon pages dealing with the products that they sell, which was the goods of the athletic wear, right? They selling marketing, so they don't need a whole bunch of pages to break that down. So they have the about on the main page. That's what and this is it right here. We enable businesses to advertise profitably. Our site marketing technologies, that's it. So we're going to go to careers. And here's where you can find out what positions they have open, et cetera, et cetera. The links are down in the description for you to browse this on your own time. Here's the benefit section that I told you I like to look at, okay? They even talk about covering your phone bill if you're using it for the business. I like how they put all of these benefits right here in front of your face. I'm blocking it. There we go. I love how they put that there. So they have internship things that they offer. And here's where you can find out about the positions that they have open. All down here in this section. Okay. And you can browse this on your own time. Just want to show you. And it's all over. I thought I saw one that said Beijing, Singapore. So yeah. All right. So now we can go to the investor section. Go all the way back down to the bottom. Yep. So right here to the right, here's the stock price. They trade on the NASDAQ. We can see the ticker. Did they zoom us out? No, they didn't. Good, good, good. Now let's see if we can find the stock quote and charts. Financials, annual report, no, stock information right here. So we click that. Here's the quote. Here's the chart. And more tools that you can use. All right. So let's go over to the Thinkorswim platform. And go over to the charts. So this isn't the first time we've looked at AppLovin on this live stream, okay? And if I'm gonna give you the actual date, give me a second. I'm gonna pull up the date that we actually had, we featured. Wait a minute. I don't want certain stuff to pop up on the screen. Give me a second. Just in case it pop up on the monitor. Market recap episodes. Okay. So APP, LOV. All right. So we covered them on Thursday, March 26th. Okay. So that's the last time we did technical analysis on this company. So that's where you see these lines that we already have on the chart. So you can go back and watch that live stream to see that we already drew these lines on the chart before these candles came down to test this support we drew before the price came down here. You can see that we already had that line here, and actually it came down and tested that level that we had drew back then. I think the price was up here when we drew this support, and you can see that it came down and it's been testing it twice. It didn't actually touch the line, but it came down near it, and it respected it as support. And now it's trading back above the 9-day simple moving average, but it's still trading below the 200-day simple moving average. Okay. And a lot of these companies, I wouldn't say a lot, but most of the companies we looked at today had low trading volume. I think we saw one that had like 80 something or whatever, but it was like one that had 1.6. I think that was the ETF, but this one is low too. So it has 30.6% on the volume rank percentile. I'm gonna take it off the screen so we can look at the average trading volume. Let's talk about the stock quote. We already did the technical analysis, but just to read it to you, this price level is $364.13. That's acting as support right now, okay? And it looks like it's finding a sideways trend. It's not trending down anymore. So that's what we were looking at when we did this trend line. It was trading down. It looks like the trend is moving sideways now. And it's respecting this support. Now, it could resume and go down now. It could resume and go down. But as far as right now, it's respecting this as support. Okay. So let's read the stock quote, and then we'll talk about the volume last. So let me zoom in, get my floating data box back up, and we talk about the stock quote. So App opened at $391.01. They had a high of $414.29. They had a low of $391.01. And they closed today at $412.68, which was a trading range of $23.28. Now, when we look at the trading volume, they traded 4.2 million shares of this stock today. And when we look at the average volume of this is 6.1 million. So it traded below average. Let me see if I can cut this floating data box off with my tool real quick. Bam, it worked. All right. Which gives us the 30.6%. Okay. So this stock had only 77 days out of the most recent 252 trading days had lower volume than today. Okay. Which is sad. If you're looking for some volume, that's sad. So that means that this move up happened on weak volume. So if you read books on technical analysis, they'll talk to you about how volume is like a secret indicator behind price moves. You don't want to just look at the price direction. You want to look at the volume behind the move. So even though this stock went up today, it didn't go up on high volume. It was weak volume. So in technical analysis terms, you wouldn't trust that up movement as much as you would if it was going up on high volume. It's questionable. That's what it is when you're thinking about technical analysis. All right. So we can go ahead and wrap this up. Let's go to this screen right here. And I'll go here. All right. So you already know. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the whole life insurance link I have down in the description. And I am currently I'm done writing part 7 I'm writing part 6, and I think it's going to be a total of 8 videos for this series, okay? But we're working on it. We're about to wrap this up. And make sure you tune in weekdays following a market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Market Recap Lives, all right? Take care and God bless.